Yambio. And as you said clearly, we're glad to have the governor of Western Equatoria State with us here. We will be discussing clearly the issues of security. We'll also be looking at the potential of the state, some of the development plans for the governor, and what are some of his priorities. We'll also be talking to the acting head of field office of the United Nations mission in South Sudan, who will be telling us as well the role UNMISS is playing here in the state and how they are collaborating with the government of Western Equatoria State in order to move the state forward. Now, I'm glad to, and it's an honor to have you, Your Excellency, Your Excellency Daniel Badagbu Rimbasa, who is the governor of Western Equatoria State. Governor, a very good evening to you, and thank you for being with us here on Nationwide.
Good evening to you and all the viewers listening to us.
Thank you. It's good to have you. Also with us, we have Mr. Emmanuel Dukundane, who is the acting head of field office of the United Nations mission in South Sudan. Emmanuel, thank you so much for being with us on Nationwide.
Thank you so much and good evening to all.
Great. Let's begin with the usual. Everybody wants to know this. Governor, you have recently been appointed as the governor, of course, of Western Equatoria State. You took office just 2 or 3 days ago when we were already here. Of course, you have your priorities in place. But before we talk even about your priorities, let's look at the situation. How did you find the current security situation here in Western Equatoria State or across Western Equatoria State during your few days here in office?
Oh, thank you very much, Sabit, for this wonderful question. I came and resumed in office in Western Equatoria. Very well. I received a very good reception from the people here, and we see hope from the people. They need peace, they need stability, and they need to develop. When I arrived in Western Equatoria, I have seen that Western Equatoria is facing insecurity in several areas, and this has persisted for quite a long time. But there is also hope and some calm in some of the areas. And when I arrived here, I sent messages. It has been well received by the people. And it has raised the heart of the people. These days I'm talking about peace, about stability, and about dialogue with the people. Because I'm not seeing a new leader in Western Equatoria, but I see people who are fighting now are those who have already signed peace with them. For example, the former governor and Fulfutia, who his men are the one creating some insecurity in the area, but they also passed the message of peace to him. And as you know, His Excellency the President has already formed a committee for dialogue, and the dialogue is the only way for us to go forward. I've extended this message to the people who are having guns, terrorizing their own people. And I've come to expedite this dialogue and making sure that we can create a stable environment in the state. We can own the state and work to make it great again.
Yes, we will talk about how you're going to achieve that. But for the moment, what are some of the most volatile areas so far when it comes to the security? Because you did mention some, there's calm, there's hope, but still there's insecurity. Where do you see the most volatile areas so far in Western Equatoria?
Specifically, the northern part of Yambio, it's about 105 miles from here. The Penang Kodonagandere is still very volatile because that's where Futia is residing in his men. And this area is very, very volatile indeed. And also in Tombra, though we have calm there, but with the history of what happened in Tombra still remains very volatile. But though there's a bit of calm right now there, but in the suburbs and also in the forests, it's still very insecurity there. And also we go to Mundri East, basically Katiba, and places like the Nakamadi and the Wandi. Those areas, there's still a pocket of insecurity in the area because there are several. Today, we have seen that I've not received such a very disturbing report. The report I got today from all over the state, they said it's a little bit calm, which I'm very optimistic. People are listening to the message of peace that I passed during the day I came, and I hope this can continue.
You did mention about dialogue. Let's look at that briefly, which is very, very important. Reaching out to the people who you have disagreements with. How are you going to do that? Because in most cases we've seen, and in most cases what we have seen is that sometimes people like to dialogue with who they are already friends with, people they are already in the system with, but not reaching out to the real people who they are fighting with, the people who they have disagreement with, the people who are right now the one causing the insecurity. How are you going to do that as a new governor who has come in, to of course, new administration right now? How are you going to reach when it comes to the issues of the dialogue? How are you going to approach that?
Actually, it is a very complex kind of approach. Indeed, I'm not here interested to talk to my own friends, but I have to talk to the people who have taken guns against the government, who are in the bush, and I have to develop a very holistic approach to engage different stakeholders and to talk to the churches. I have to talk to key members of the civil society organizations, to the traditional leaders and the chiefs in the area, and also some of the peace partners like UNMISS. So we will engage in a very holistic approach, how we can reach these people by also sending a message of peace for them and looking at the possibility of opening a corridor of communication to them and seeing that the people who are closer to them can send this positive message so that we can be able to start dialogue. Because I believe that dialogue is the only way to go. And if we engage in dialogue, we will be able to build the confidence of these people. Because I know the young people fighting, some of them are taken against their will. They were mobilized by force. And if we talk to them very well, some of them will leave fighting and come home to benefit from, the amnesty and also move forward as we continue with the message of reconciliation. And we also put in place the issue of trust building in the people and the institutions so that we provide the infrastructure which is necessary for reconciliation, for forgiveness, for healing, and also building social cohesion, and also working on the issue of communal dialogue. We're going to involve several actors in dialogue, used to use, also we'll engage like a military civil relation as well, then chiefs and other people. If we put the multitask, faceted kind of approach on ground, I'm very optimistic we'll gain the peace we need. This is not the first time we've done it. We did it before, and we can do it again.
Yes. Are you willing right now to reach out to, let's say, your former governor, the former governor of the state, who at the moment is at large, and you clearly said that some of his boys are the one causing the insecurity? Are you willing to talk to him and dialogue with him directly?
Absolutely, I'm willing. I'm willing to talk to him directly because we better bring him home than leaving him at large in the forest, because you cannot control someone who has an arms in the forest, and his being in the forest can cause a lot of panic. The civil population will not be able to go for farming because this community, they live on growing their own food. So we have to create an enabling environment for them. We have to stabilize the place for them so that able to go to their farms without fear. Women are able to go for fishing, to fetch water or to fetch firewood, and the men are supposed to be hunting, to go to harvest the honey without any problem in the forest. Therefore, I'm committed to this dialogue.
In many people we spoke to in the state, in our conversations in the interview, the young people, women, youth, when we talk to them, they have expressed optimism. Most of them are saying with the new arrival of the governor, things will be better. We hope things can be better. Now, as you take office, of course, tell us some of your priorities, some of the things that you're going to do differently to be able to fulfill the hope of these young people who are saying, with the arrival of this new governor, we think things will be better in the state. as you talk to them? Just outline a few of your approaches and some of your priorities right
This is a very good question. What I've seen is that when I was appointed, I immediately do the scanning of what can be the approach to bring sustainable peace in Western Equatoria. And I've developed 4 pillars, which I see if we work using it, we will be able to bring lasting peace to Western Equatoria. The first pillar is to build trust in people and institutions. Because by building trust, people can see that the peace we are doing, there is a trust in it, and also we can provide the environment that can sustain the peace. Like what I'm talking about, the dialogue of the people, it needs trust into that. When this trust is put in people, that means people must trust the government. For example, the issue in Tumbra, the government need to take the mantle because to use its cohesive power as well to protect its own people, so that the communities or the communities do not take laws in their own hands. So we are able to provide the necessary security people need for themselves, the necessary protection, and people can see that government exists. When we do that and people start trusting us in government, as the government, there will be confidence building in the people, and from there will be talk. So I need Western Equatoria to talk to itself. That means there should be conversation amongst the people of Western Equatoria so that they can realize their potentials. They can develop a shared vision and their shared values and have a shared direction where they must go. We must also make sure that we build trust in institutions. That means we have to make sure people trust in our institutions. That means we have to put in place the rule of law must be there, the issue of justice, the issue of accountability, public finance management must put in place. We must restore the system of running the government. Its machineries and apparatus should be operating, and of course, council of ministers must be in place, and the assembly must be there to do the oversight of activities and pass the bills, so that it can also be adjudicated by the head of legal administration. People should see system of government is in place, and they have to trust the government. So I need to build this trust in the people and institutions. The first pillar. The second pillar is that under that still we need to provide a conducive environment to set that infrastructure for reconciliation amongst the people, to reconcile our people, to unite them as well. We need to make the people of Western Equatoria to actually supersede the issue of tribalism as well. People should have a shared vision for the entire Western Equatoria with inclusivity. Wherever a young girl is born today in Lesse, that means in Mongolo County, she shouldn't fear. She should know that she will be protected. Her rights will be there. She will have an opportunity in her state. This is the kind of governance we need to put in place, including good governance also in place for the people that they can trust, where people can move freely and do their business freely, can have trust with the security organs, and have that best thing put in place. The second pillar is now we need to build the gaps of the basic service delivery. We need to look at the issue of restoring operations in the schools which are burnt down, to make sure that our children go back to school. We need also to provide operations in the health centers which are destroyed by the war. We need to provide clean water to the people, and the basic services that can be humanitarian assistance to the people. The very many IDPs we have them within Western Equatoria who are displaced in the various areas. These people need humanitarian assistance in order to attain resilience as well and have hope. Also, we need to bring in development activities as well, because when we bring both humanitarian and the development together, we can be able to change the mindset of the young people in the bush. That means we can help them through vocational training, through livelihood, through farming, by creating cooperative societies and giving basic skills to the young people, which they can use it later to improve on their livelihood. If we do so, no young person will go to the bush. Will be there to only provide the best living standard for their families. So the priority here is to change in terms of bringing socio-economic transformation to our people so that we can change it from the culture. Really be very fair. The third pillar is Western Equatoria is a very we can engage in serious farming. Work will be now to see how we can increase productivity so that we can provide food area and also so that people can live there farming engaging the young people not to be lazy, to be very busy, to use these skills. The last one would be to nurture effective partnerships with the different stakeholders in the state, people to change their mindset to be easy, working to stop these issues that bring into the mindset and forming people, and also create network people to people so that we can make this.
Great, Governor. All this sounds really, really great to the ear. Sounds perfect. Now, most people listening to us, and I didn't want to interrupt you because I want you to lay down all your programs that the people of Western Equatoria State listen to them, and they will be saying, oh, really, our governor sounds great and something that might be happening. But let's go through a little bit of the things you mentioned, especially when it comes to the issue of accountability. You mentioned about that in order to build trust, there should be accountability in governance, especially. People want to know where their resources are going as a nation. Now, when it comes to the issue of accountability, what is your stand on corruption in the state as you take off?
I stand in is anyone who is whatever we are doing and the assembly must be what we are doing. Accountability is not only money. Accountability is what you do. You own it and you have to work for the result. That must be positive. So I want the people on this issue of transparency. Even if you're given a task, you must fulfill. You must be able to report back to say I've done it. There must be very strong supervisory role to be provided by the government. And we're also going to engage much in finance management so that the little and oil revenue the state can generate use it for the service delivery, to pay the teachers, or training or scholarship, in clean water to the people and the that people have seen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Governor. We will get back to you and talk about quite a lot that you mentioned earlier and some of your priorities. But for now, let's also talk to the acting head of field office of our United Nations mission in South Sudan, Mr. Emmanuel Dukundane. Thank you so much for your patience. You've waited for quite some time as you listen to us. UNMISS has been here for a while, and of course, UNMISS has been working in collaboration with the state government. You have been doing all the mandate of the UNMISS, and one of them, of course, is issuing, of course, monitoring as well. So, from UNMISS monitoring and community engagement so far, what trends are you seeing in terms of the security situation?
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to give appreciation to His Excellency the Governor to appear on our live talk show here on Radio Miraya. Concerning the question you just highlighted, the mission mandate, of course, we are all aware of it, is surrounding the protection of civilian and the implementation of durable peace. All the support the mission or the field office is providing is to support the government, the state government, the leadership of the new governor, and the communities in Western Equatoria State to engage in peace dialogue to ensure that we promote peace and reconciliation in the state, because this one is contributing to the protection of civilians. Protection of civilians, of course, the primary mandate lies with the government. The UNMISS only provides support to the government and the other stakeholders and the communities to ensure that civilians are protected. And one of the strategies here we use is a peaceful engagement to the communities that are having problems, or to the parties that are also having grievances among themselves. One of the examples, of course, the governor mentioned some of the western counties in Tambra and Yambio recently, but also in Mondri East County, where we have some challenges. As a mission, we focus on those hotspot areas to ensure that together with the government, in supporting them and supporting the communities, they reach at the peaceful resolution of the conflicts or grievances. And the effort we put as a mission or field office is on your question, engaging the communities at the grassroots level, because we know that peace begins from the people. If people embrace peace, then at the grassroots, then we'll have durable peace. We have communities that are engaged and supporting peace, and this one is going to help the parties with the government to focus on so many services to work with the partners and deliver those services to the communities. This is what I can say.
Yes, in terms of one of the issues you mentioned, helping these communities or these parties to dialogue, what role exactly is UNMISS playing in helping this, making sure this dialogue goes on, and of course helping in the implementation of the comprehensive peace?
Of course, thank you so much for this additional question. Of course, UNMISS provides the technical support. Not only technical support, but also advisory support, logistical support in our support to the engagement with the communities through peace dialogue. This support, of course, you have seen UNMISS facilitating different stakeholders and communities to fly or to move to locations of dialogue, and also we engage the state leadership and different relevant institutions and communities, especially those ones that are supporting the peace dialogues, like civil society organizations and the rest. We really engage and work with them to advocate with to the parties and to the communities to embrace peace. This is in a nutshell what UNMISS does in this state.
Thank you. We'll get back to you, Mr. Emmanuel. Let's get back to His Excellency, the Governor of Western Equatoria State, as we communicate and look at the situation here in the state, and as well, what are some of his priorities moving forward. Now, Western Equatoria State, we all know of reason, has been in conflict, especially places like Tombra has been hotspots, and you mentioned some other areas as well. You mentioned about tackling the issue of tribalism in the state, where anyone born from anywhere in the state, within the state, should feel safe, should feel nobody's after them. How are you going to approach that when it comes to the issue of tribalism? How do you try to build trust where everyone in Western Equatoria State should look at each other as brothers and sisters, people from the same mother and father? They don't really need to look at each other in terms of tribe. What approaches are you going to put in place to ensure that that trust is built within communities?
Thank you for the question. First and foremost, what I think we need to do is working as a team with all the stakeholders and working with the traditional leaders and the civil society organization to pass positive message to the people and engaging with them there. I've assured the people that we can have a leader with all the power so far to do things better as a servant come to build the people and to restore this kind of peace. Together with the people, we can make a difference. I don't believe that tribalism should be put into politics at all. People should use their ethnicities or tribes for promoting the cultures of the people. That's very good because our diversity comes from those tribes, but we shouldn't use it as a tool to go into tribalism. I don't think even there is a tribalism in Western Equatoria State. But what I see is the inclusivity of distribution of resources and distribution power. For example, when somebody forming government within every area to be represented. If the ministers should be in every counties must be represented very well. And in the bigger offices like the governor, deputy governor, the speaker, this one must also be divided evenly. Equally within our areas, and we shouldn't really talk more of tribalism. We should talk more of a vision that we create, the ideological vision for what's making this better, and we have to develop it as a team so that when we are talking about service delivery, we must also be equated. So we must be all the time.
Great.
When somebody is from any given part of the area or from even a tribe is made, you don't have to say, I come from any tribe, I want to get more opportunities. So we need to provide equal opportunity to everyone. And everyone must be equal, so we engage, we communicate, we dialogue, and we be close with the people at the end will finally achieve the issue of overcoming the tribalism.
Is that what you're going to do right now when you're going to form your government? Are you going to be inclusive in your government, or is your government inclusive right now as you speak?
Yes, the government is already inclusive. I was a deputy governor here before, and the information is the governor from now the western, they call it this western counties. We have a speaker already from the eastern counties. We have a deputy governor from the middle. Plus, we have ministers. All the councils represent. But I'm not that one to go further into the local government. We need to go now into the counties. The council must have the same. The directives also involve all the ethnicity that we have here should be engaged in the government. So that people can see themselves within the government. And if people see themselves in the government, nobody will have to mention tribalism. People mention tribalism when they don't see themselves in idle government. Then they think, okay, if I have my child there, then I will get opportunity. Now, if we provide equitable opportunity for everyone, we will not hear anything for tribalism.
All right. Before we go and open the line for our callers to talk to you directly, there's one of the burning issues in, let me say, the whole country, but particularly here. When we spoke to some people, we went to the market, and today we're also at the Freedom Square talking to people. We found out, and many of them, we have police officers or police men and women, soldiers, who now are diverted to doing some small businesses in order to sustain their lives because salary is not being paid in time or coming in time. As a new governor, what are you going to do when it comes to the issue of salaries for civil servants in this state?
The issue of salaries is local state. It is a national government mandate to pay the salary of the people. But as a leader here, what I will do is to engage the local all the actors included to make sure that we have the salary of the people. And I think over the past 2 months, people do get the salary back. The only problem is the scarcity of the cash. It is from there people who receive transfers into their accounts, but the unclassified staffs who then accounts are facing a problem because they need physical cash. They have had already readiness in Dubai with the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank as well. And I'm very pessimistic. If the availability of cash is in Dubai automatically, I will engage in Western that has physical cash in Western Equatoria.
So no promises so far?
No, all consideration.
Great. All right, Sunny Martin, let's take some phone calls so we can engage with the listeners directly with the governor and also the acting head of field office here in Yambio. Please go ahead and take some phone calls. All right, Sunny Martin, let's first give a chance for our guests here to answer those particular questions, and we'll get back for more. Now, as you heard, Your Excellency, the first question is, how do you work with the king or traditional leaders on the ground? They talked about food basket. Yambio has the potential. What are you going to do to reach that potential of being a food basket in the state? Now, you served previously as the deputy governor or acting governor, and is asking about some of your achievements that the people should trust you leading them or leading this particular state. And finally, reaching out to opposition leaders like the former governor, which you already answered that earlier, but you can, of course, say that again. Let's go through some of these questions. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. These questions are very good. How this, the queen and the kingdom, these are one of the actors and institutions that we can use for, as ambassadors of peace to the people. And of course, some people don't think they have very clear. Freedom has nothing to do with the government. Government is government, and even is only there to protect the culture of its own people and also to work on promoting health education. So they don't engage in government issues. So it's a very clear role of government and freedom. So the two are not colliding, and they can work together. and have a political will to work with them, to use the kingdom also to advocate for peace, and also to put them on board, and also to use them to try to people about agriculture. People have mentioned this place as welfare basket. So we work permanently, not only with the kingdom, but with different paramount chiefs in the leaders territory, so that we can be ambassadors of peace and we can familiar dialogue and reconciliation and different things we can use them for. We can use them also for promotion of agriculture, promotion of health, education, and many things that we work together as a team with these people, and we use them as a tool also to work to do reconciliation among the people. The question of Jackson, yes, it is true. I've worked in various positions before as a governor of the state, before I became a deputy governor of I think history has it. When I was a governor before here in Equatoria State, I managed with the team we worked together. And here I worked cabinet rebellion. It was here before for SSGTV. We brought the peace to the people. This area can live to testify that we brought over 4,000 people who were fighting the government back home, and we integrated some of them. And through that process, we were able also to do some stabilization, peaceable activities. We made several roads around here. We also constructed vocational centers for young people that has helped many young people who today have livelihood in town, and they're doing good for a while. So I think through this commitment to the service and respect and providing good leadership and being exemplary at the same time, we think that's why the leadership of the government, especially His Excellency and the SPN of leadership, will continue to trust me and will give me, their trust upon me so that I can come and do that. When I was a deputy governor, people I've seen was an Equatoria Special Tender. It was a Indidi program. When I visited Tombra, that's what has brought the relative peace people are having right now in Tombra. And during that time, when the former government here knew how life was, that peacefully, people know how I managed to turn things around and brought hope back to the people who was in the question again. When I was the acting governor, people have seen the engagement at night, everybody talk about it. And when I was living here, going back to Juba, I saw people were crying. I think many people have prayed for me, and I will do all the best I can to work as a servant and to serve the people. I still maintain that spirit, and I will be engaging with the future, so that the same way I engaged with several rebel groups before and the peace finally came to us in Equatorial, I will do the same with
Thank you so much. And now let's also talk to the head of field office, Emmanuel Dukundane. Yes, please. Yes, thank you, Sunny. And let's give a chance right away to Emmanuel, who is the acting head of field office in Yambio. Please go ahead.
Well, thank you so much in these questions to the listeners. The UNMISS is here to support the peace dialogue. As I mentioned from the beginning, the peace dialogue is a cornerstone of the POC mandate. Apart from physical protection of civilians, but we also support these peace processes that are based on dialogue and understanding. So the type of support we've been providing, of course, we've been working with the key mediators, the lead mediators of the peace processes. If all of us remember, in Tambora, we continue to work with religious leaders from the South Sudan Council of Churches to the interface on the ground, even civil society organizations on the ground, supporting in collaboration with the state government, supporting these peace processes at the grassroots level. and we continue to support those efforts in terms of facilitating logistically people to move to those venues, in terms of also providing technical assistance and even financing in some of the cases. We have some finance in our programmatic activities. We really use those resources to support the community dialogue. And one of the good examples, of course, is in Canberra, despite the challenges we faced, but we really worked hard with these partners and the government, especially the government, to support those processes or dialogues. And the PIP, people, the listeners should know that we are not different from other states or attached offices. We have line PIPs. Depending on the quotas we distribute, we agree as a mission. The PIPs of force directed to Western Equatoria State are in the pipeline. Although, of course, all of us, we have to understand that globally we are facing with the UN and the other humanitarian agencies, we are facing the liquidity challenge. And we have no control over those. But irrespective of those ones, when we get the resources through our budget and the under our mandate, we support these groups. So we have a number of them that are ongoing in Western Equatoria State, as we used to have before.
Thank you very much, Sunny Martin. And yes, we give the chance to the governor to answer those particular questions. Governor, this question is not is by one of the listeners, but also yesterday it was raised when we were in the market, because some of the traders say there are over 26 check blocks or roadblocks when it comes from Juba up to the state here, and they're paying taxes that they don't even know what is the name of these taxes, and it really a big challenge for their businesses. What will you say on that?
I'm really very happy for this question. It's timely and it has coincided with the decision that I just made last time. Our security team have already ordered the illegal checkpoints to be removed. And in that meeting, I was together with the Deputy Division Commander and all the security organs. We have agreed that those checkpoints need to illegally raised must be removed, and the Deputy Division Commander will be in charge to make sure that he brings me back on when those illegal checkpoints are removed. So this one we have already taken action.
So you put an order in place right now, ordering the removal of all the security checkpoints. Do you know when this is going to effect?
We have already passed today, and we'll see after 7 days what will happen. And this order was already made by His Excellency the President years back. And that's during the time I was a cabinet governor here. They know very well that when I came here, I infected the orders. And of course, the road from Juba, many roadblocks which were there, I was able to remove them from here up to Kubriko. And the people here, they know that as well. So I will do the same that I did before, but we will only leave the strategic checkpoints which are required to be based upon the security situation we have here. There is also need for us to, have some kind of things and also to put a strategic perimeter somehow to protect our people on the roads, because they also need security as well.
Yes, and the issue of cattle herders.
Yeah, the issue of cattle herders, today I touched a little bit of it and discussed lengthy about it, and I will then finalize it in the next security video. I'm not going to allow these people to stay in the cattle in Western Equatoria, because the area is for farming and they are causing insecurity for the people here. They are also killing our civilians. They are moving with guns, which is also somehow facilitating this insecurity in the area. The person who's moving the guns is not a friend. So I will very soon pass the order to let them away from Western Equatoria. I'm studying now at the relationships that are happening who are behind the business with them. It's not becomes something easy. So you have to know that the people behind also people who are investing in the business. That's what I'm studying on